Ryan Clark versus RG3 battle.
RG3 put out a tweet.
RG3 comes up. He says, Angel Reese really hates Caitlin Clark.
Not basketball rivalry hate, real hate. And then he later posted a video elaborating on that tweet with his wife sitting in the back.
Then Ryan Clark says,
if you're RG3, when is the last time within your household you've had a conversation about what she's dealing with? You haven't been able to do that because in both of your marriages, you've been married to white women.
Ryan Clark is trying to move his own career.
But this is definitely crossed the line of being personal, and I think that's where the issue comes in.
It's the identity politics of the day. And carrying the day. It's as ridiculous, which we would never say.
Just when you thought the drama couldn't get any hotter, boom! Ryan Clark just exploded on RG3 for daring to defend Caitlin Clark.
Ryan Clark then responds by saying, how dare you have an opinion on that?
Because his wife is white.
Don't ever comment on anything about a black woman ever again because you married a white woman twice.
It wasn't analysis. It was personal, brutal, and straight up wild.
Ryan Clark, who is crushing like RG3 and getting involved with his white wife, AKA Milk. Now, if you're mad about that, then you're mad about the truth. If you want to rip me for that, then you're going to rip me for the truth. He is going to make his racist ass points.
He wants to protect black women.
But this is a personal feud. This is not a sports debate.
Number one, this got way too personal.
RG3 putting out his own tweets, getting really upset, saying that there's a line you don't cross in life, and Ryan Clark sprinted past it. Didn't like my take on Angel Reese, so he brought up my wife and her skin color, obviously crossing a line.
But here's the kicker. RG3 didn't back down. He hit back with truth and class, and now the internet is on fire. If you stand with Caitlin Clark, drop 100% in the comments right now.
The only reason for Caitlin is because she didn't play basketball like most.
Caitlin Clark knows what's coming. Caitlin Clark rises up and is the star.
Caitlin Clark is phenomenal. She is somebody like we have never seen before.
You guys are lucky you have Caitlin Clark. You are lucky you have the Indiana Fever.
This is one you don't want to miss. It all started when RG3, former NFL quarterback turned analyst, decided to speak up for Caitlin Clark in the middle of yet another firestorm.
Robert Griffin III is saying, hey, guess what? This dude should be fired.
Social, here's Ryan Clark calling RG3 one of the worst teammates he's ever had.
His message was simple. The hard foul Clark took from Angel Reese was part of basketball, not a reason to villainize anyone. He didn't attack Reese.
Walk me through your perspective on the flagrant foul. What was the point you were trying to make to her?
It's just a good take foul, you know. If either Angel gets wide open 2 points or, we send him to the free throw line. Nothing malicious about it. It's just a good take foul. Every basketball player knows that.
He didn't diminish her. He just called it what it was. A routine take foul, not some malicious act or race-driven drama.
Angel Reese is lined up. She is going for a rebound, and she double hand shoves. It is a clear foul on the rebound. Caitlin Clark then reacts to the shove, and she's saying, why in the world is there not a foul called? And then Angel Reese gets the rebound. She is going to have a wide open layup, and Caitlin Clark comes in, slaps the hand, slaps the ball. It was a foul. This is in no way a flagrant foul, in my opinion. This is in no way a non-basketball play.
But RG3 went further. He pushed back against the idea that every incident involving Caitlin Clark and a black player had to be twisted into a racial issue. Instead, he emphasized treating WNBA players like true pros.
WNBA started and all the talk is about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
Angel Reese lost her mind after a smart foul.
WNBA has this exciting rivalry, and we've talked about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese for so long.
Holding them to the same competitive standards as men. According to RG3, women's basketball should be about skill, hustle, and heart.
RG3 goes on and says, this is not a normal reaction. And RG3 tries to get in her head and says the only thing he can think is that she just hates Caitlin Clark.
Not identity politics. And that's when all hell broke loose. The moment RG3 said Angel Reese's body language and repeated confrontations with Caitlin Clark looked personal, like there was real animosity brewing, some didn't take it well. They twisted his message into something it wasn't.
Yeah, this is not even Angel and Caitlyn anymore. This is like they have some other underlying thing.
There we go.
And the whole thing is people can have differing opinions. It's okay.
Suddenly, RG3 wasn't just defending Caitlin Clark. He was being painted as the villain for speaking truth. He made it clear that Caitlin Clark's rise to stardom shouldn't come with a target on her back. And that hate, whether in the form of personal fouls or fan behavior, shouldn't be excused or justified.
Angel Reese gets fouled and goes down like LeBron James does oftentimes in an epic flop. She gets up and immediately chases after Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark just kind of ignores her.
But instead of sparking productive dialogue, RG3's comments made him the target of a wave of hate from those who couldn't handle the truth. And waiting in that storm was Ryan Clark. The moment RG3 defended Caitlin Clark, Ryan Clark didn't just disagree. He launched a full-on personal assault.
Why would Ryan Clark defend in any way the way that Angel Reese responded? His only defense of her is that because she's a black woman, she's justified in being angry because she got fouled attempting a layup, and RG3 could never understand what it is to know that feeling because he's not married to a black woman?
What started as a basketball debate spiraled into something much darker. Instead of challenging RG3's opinion like a fellow analyst, Ryan Clark attacked RG3's character, his family, and even his marriage. Yes, Clark went so far as to question RG3's black identity because he has a white wife.
Ryan Clark is saying is that RG3 would have a different opinion if he didn't have a white wife.
Let that sink in. Clark accused RG3 of not understanding what black women endure, claiming he had never had those conversations in his home. This despite the fact that RG3 has a black mother, multiple black sisters, and 4 black daughters. The attacks weren't about basketball anymore. They were about painting RG3 as inauthentic, a traitor to his race, simply because he dared to defend Caitlin Clark and push back against racially charged narratives. It didn't stop there. Ryan Clark started mimicking Angel Reese's mannerisms.
You haven't been able to do that because in both of your marriages, you've been married to white women.
Hey, he a clown, bro.
You haven't had opportunities to have those conversations to educate you on what they're feeling, what black women deal with, what they're seeing when they think of a young Angel Reese. And the whole time that he's mimicking Angel Reese and bobbing his head and moving his neck while he's doing this whole piece.
Bobbing his head and rolling his neck, mocking the way she acts on the court. Not to criticize her, but to criticize RG3 for supposedly mocking her. He tried to play the role of the protector of black women, but in doing so, his tone turned bitter and sarcastic. Instead of elevating the conversation, he dragged it into the mud. Critics quickly noticed how Clark weaponized identity politics while ignoring the facts RG3 laid out.
All of you know there's a line in life that you just simply don't cross. Wives and children are always off limits. And Ryan Clark has sprinted past that line. Ryan Clark didn't like my sports take that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. And that's fine. It's okay. It's part of the game. Sports media, I'm going to have an opinion. This person might not agree with it. That person might not agree with it. But what you don't do is turn around and personally attack me and my family just because you don't agree with a sports opinion that is purely based off the sport. I didn't make it personal. But what that really shows is just how low of a person Ryan Clark is. But Ryan, you crossed the line, man. You made it personal and some. I really believe there should be no space in sports media for personal attacks. I've said it before. But certainly personal attacks against wife and children have always been off limits. Ryan, you attacked me and my family in a public forum on a level that shows just how low of a human being you are. You can disagree with me all you want. Challenge my takes. but keep my family and my wife out of it. That's a boundary that should always be respected, man. Always. Ryan Clark personally attacking me and my family because he disagreed with my sports opinion is a bad look for ESPN. It's cowardly, it's spineless, and it's weak. Ryan Clark personally attacking me and my family. Personally because he disagreed with my sports opinion is a bad look for him as a man. I hope you get the help you need, brother.
Even more disturbing, Clark implied that RG3's mixed-race family disqualified him from speaking on black issues. A shocking accusation in a time when biracial families are common, especially in professional sports. The backlash was swift. Viewers and analysts alike began calling out Clark's hypocrisy and double standards. How could a man who speaks about protecting black women stoop to using another black man's marriage and children against him? And why was he focusing so much on RG3's personal life instead of addressing the basketball topic at hand?
Where was this type of reaction last year when Angel Reese got chokeslammed by Alyssa Thomas of the Connecticut Sun? Y'all remember that? She got fouled so hard, they kicked Aaliyah Thomas out the game with a flagrant 2 foul. What did Angel Reese do? Nothing. She didn't get up and try to swing on her. You know why? The reaction was different because of who did it. And there is a lot of history there with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. You guys remember last year when Angel Reese celebrated Kennedy Carter getting that flagrant foul on the hip check against Caitlin Clark? You remember that? On the sideline, just, yeah, baby, get her, you get her. Who celebrates like that for a flagrant foul on another player if they don't dislike that player? Okay, you want some more evidence? Here's some more evidence. Remember last year when they were talking about who gets the credit for the expansion and the eyeballs and the popularity boost of women's basketball? Not just the WNBA, but women's basketball in general, because of the spike in the women's NCAA tournament and in WNBA viewership. A lot of people were attributing that to Caitlin Clark, and rightfully so. This is what Angel Reese had to say, and I quote, "People are talking about women's basketball. You never would think they'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to the games. We got celebrities coming to the games, sold out arenas just because of one single game. Just looking at that, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on to be that for my teammates. I know I'll go down in history. I'll look back in 20 years and be like, the reason we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too. I want y'all to realize that." Now, I've heard a lot of people say that I or others have made Angel Reese the villain. Did you not just hear herself call herself the bad guy? She called herself the villain. I'm not making her the villain. She's making herself the villain.
It felt like a deflection, a way to avoid talking about how Caitlin Clark, a rookie, has been elbowed, hip-checked, and targeted repeatedly on the court without any real protection or fairness. RG3 wanted to have that conversation, but Ryan Clark didn't. Instead, he turned it into a character attack. Even people within ESPN were reportedly uncomfortable.
Their ESPN's gotten way too racist internally. Treat them like a real league, like athletes. The ESPN talents we spoke to emphasized that Clark implied Griffin's role as a father, son, and brother. Clark has a black mother, 4 black daughters, 3 black sisters, and yet Clark claimed Griffin doesn't have conversations at home about what black women. ESPN has a problem. It's clouded by all his stupid. It's clouded by his racism. It's clouded by the fact that people that work at ESPN have had enough and endure.
According to commentary from other creators, some of Clark's own colleagues began speaking out off camera about the toxic culture being created by this type of narrative warfare. One former NFL player said it best: "There are 2 rules in a locker room. You don't talk about a man's money, and you don't talk about his woman." Ryan Clark broke both. To many, it looked like Clark was trying to hijack the conversation about Caitlin Clark's treatment and turn it into a personal vendetta against RG3. He didn't just try to destroy RG3's credibility, he tried to erase him from the conversation completely. And while he was busy dragging RG3 through the mud, fans across the league were asking, is this really about basketball anymore? Or is this about something else entirely?
Bro, you know what it is with me and you. I saved you the entire season on Monday Night Football. So here, there's a television teammate shot. I urge people to let you be you, no matter how corny, how bad a teammate you were.
Corny.
I had your back. What did you do? Invite someone on your show you know I don't fool with to ask questions about me and then hit me weeks later to tell me you're going to challenge one of my takes. You're a phony, bro. One of the worst teammates I ever had, both on the field and in TV. You got to do what you got to do. I didn't attack your wife. I spoke on what you do on social media and TV. Like I said, I met your wife and she seemed like a lovely lady that was worth more than the color of her skin. You be good, bruh.
The moment Ryan Clark crossed the line from basketball analysis into personal attacks on RG3's family, the public response was overwhelming and brutal. Social media, podcast hosts, and even current and former athletes called him out for what it was. A character assassination rooted in resentment, not reason. People weren't just mad because he disagreed with RG3.
Every black woman should be pissed off right now. No one even wants to talk about. I wonder how does Sid Colson and Breonna Turner and Kelsey Mitchell and DeWanna Bonner and AB feel as black women, Dantas, as black women, not only seeing your teammate do something like that to another black woman, and that black woman is the one that's made out to be the villain.
Disagreements are part of sports. What infuriated so many was how Clark tried to discredit RG3's perspective by dragging in his wife, his biracial children, and implying he wasn't black enough to speak on issues that affect black women. That wasn't a sports take. That was personal, divisive, and for many, deeply offensive. Several voices from inside ESPN, according to leaks and commentary from shows like Outkick and other YouTube creators, revealed that multiple co-workers of Clark were uncomfortable with how far he took things. One insider even said morale at ESPN had been deteriorating, calling the environment too woke, too racist.
It's the identity politics of the day and carrying the day. It's as ridiculous, which we would never say. Ryan Clark, again, according to Marcellus Wiley, I've not fact-checked this. We're reading his post on X.
That's right.
Has a child with a white woman and has the audacity to question the blackness of RG3, who is married to a white woman, all over a damn foul. Talking about wives. Now that's foul.
And claiming that the double standards were starting to make people walk on eggshells behind the scenes. And then there was the internet's response. Viewers from both sides of the aisle, black, white, conservative, progressive, began to rally around RG3. Why? Because he kept it about basketball. He didn't name call. He didn't drag people's families through the dirt. He defended Caitlin Clark for the way she's been repeatedly fouled, disrespected, and villainized. And in doing so, he exposed a truth many weren't ready to confront. Some players, fans, and even commentators were turning Caitlin Clark's rise into a racial war zone. YouTubers didn't hold back. Some accused Clark of playing gatekeeper to blackness.
I don't think she hates Caitlin Clark. I think that the issue is that when she's playing Caitlin Clark got racist fans that do monkey sounds and weird-ass racist shit while Angel Reese is on the court.
Oh,
so
you been to the game?
If I'm playing against you and your fans are doing racist shit, yeah, I'm gonna have energy for you because you constantly let your friends be racist.
Friends.
Right? No lie. Caitlin Clark fans have brought so much racism to the WNBA. You guys are racist.
Every time, it's always about race with this dude, bro. Like, why are you making personal shots at another man as a grown man? He's trying to protect black women.
Deciding who was allowed to speak on racial issues based on who they were married to. Others went further, pointing out the hypocrisy of Clark claiming to defend black women while giving platforms to actual convicted abusers of black women on shows he's been affiliated with, never once calling them out. Meanwhile, RG3 stayed relatively silent in the aftermath, letting the public verdict speak for itself. And it was loud. Clark had gone too far. Even people who supported Angel Reese and appreciated her role in raising the WNBA's visibility admitted this had nothing to do with defending black women or promoting unity. It was about silencing someone who had dared to say, let's treat female athletes equally. Let's not excuse dirty plays or toxic fan behavior just because of identity. Commenters flooded YouTube and Twitter. Ryan Clark turned this into a racial purity test. RG3 kept it classy and real. Ryan just made it personal.
ESPN could employ Ryan Clark, and that his analysis of an ESPN product on air could be that if you're not married to a black woman, you can't comment on Angel Reese and the way that she behaved after she got fouled on a layup.
I'm done with ESPN if this is what they stand behind. And then came the messages of solidarity for Caitlin Clark. Fans from across the country started speaking out. Caitlin doesn't deserve this. She's been knocked to the ground, elbowed in the face, and treated like a punching bag all season. And now even defending her draws outrage.
So where was this type of reaction last year when Angel Reese got chokeslammed by Alyssa Thomas of the Connecticut Sun? Y'all remember that? She got fouled so hard, they kicked Aaliyah Thomas out the game with a flagrant 2 foul. What did Angel Reese do? Nothing. She didn't get up and try to swing on her. You know why? The reaction was different because of who did it. And there is a lot of history there with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
This wasn't just a Ryan versus RG3 moment anymore. It turned into a mirror reflecting a much bigger problem in sports media. The obsession with racial narratives, even at the cost of truth and fairness. Let's not forget, Caitlin Clark didn't ask to be the center of this drama. She just kept showing up, draining threes, breaking records, and elevating women's basketball like no one in recent memory. She didn't throw herself into controversy. She became a lightning rod because her greatness disrupted the established order. And RG3, he saw that. He understood what was happening, and he spoke up, not to tear anyone down, but to call for balance, respect, and integrity. The fact that he got attacked for that says more about Ryan Clark's agenda than it does about anything RG3 said. By the end of this firestorm, one thing was clear. Ryan Clark didn't win anything. In fact, the harder he tried to shame RG3, the more he exposed his own insecurity and bias. And fans noticed the tide had turned, and once again, the person at the center of it all, Caitlin Clark, became the symbol not just of basketball excellence, but of what happens when your success threatens the system.
Caitlin Clark, I've been noticing, I've been following her career since she was a sophomore at Iowa, and I recognized how different she was, how different she played the game. I used to tell all my colleagues who are not into women's basketball, I say, hey, man, you got to check out this girl at Iowa, man. She shoots from the logo. She shoots from almost half court. She's different. And men who travel with us in our traveling party who are basically anti-women's basketball, just didn't care for it, didn't want to talk about it, had no interest in it at all. All of a sudden, they started watching Caitlin Clark and got intrigued by her, and they became fans of her and her game. She needs a Jeep endorsement, a commercial, because Jeep is an acronym that I've come up with of the way she has been treated and not welcomed into the WNBA. Jeep, the acronym is JEEP, and that stands for jealousy, envy, egos, and pettiness.
At the end of the day, this was never just about one foul or one opinion. This was about what happens when truth threatens comfort, when a black man like RG3 defends a white woman like Caitlin Clark, and suddenly the rules change. Ryan Clark tried to flip the script, using identity over integrity, rage over reason. But the public saw through it. They saw a man weaponizing race to silence another. All because RG3 had the courage to say what millions were thinking. Caitlin Clark is being treated unfairly, and someone needs to say it out loud. And if protecting black women is the mission, it shouldn't come at the cost of destroying black men who simply disagree. It shouldn't involve dragging families into the mud or twisting the narrative to fit an agenda. Caitlin Clark deserves better,
It's over. The BS, denying her her place in the game. She's going to rewrite and shatter the record books. She could easily average a triple-double.
RG3 deserves better, and so do all of us who want sports to stay about competition, not controversy. If you support Caitlin Clark, if you stand with truth over hate, drop 100% in the comments and let the world know. We see what's happening, and we're not staying silent. This isn't over. It's just getting started.